What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Daily Crypto in the house. We're going to be talking about some BTC price action today. BTC at 80K right now. What are you doing? Are you buying? Are you selling? Are we panicking or are we buying the dip? Because I could have sworn a few weeks ago, everyone was like, oh man, I wish BTC was 90K, 85K, because I'll buy me all the BTC. And where are they at now? This thing on? Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Where are they at now? Crying, hiding in the corners. Where is everybody? Show your support and your love for BTC. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the price action. Also, guys, if you have any asset you want me to analyze, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Let me get the comments up here so that I can make sure I'm reading down. There's the chat. Great. I don't see anything in the chat. Cool. There's an overlay. Didn't mean to do that. Great. All right. Let me know if there's anything you guys want me to analyze, and we'll take a look at it. So again, not much change here with BTC price action. What we're looking at still series of, let's get my demonstration tool out. We have our lower highs here descending, high, high. And then our lows are also descending, lows, 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 lows. So here we had that support from horizontal support and resistance. Then we have a breakthrough here and now price trading underneath. We had price using the EMAs as support here. We're being supported at the 9, then the 26, then the 50, then the 100. Now the 200 has been breached. So we look back in the past and see what happens when the 200 gets breached. Well, it was breached back here for a number of times. One important factor that we see was that the 100 didn't cross under the 200 and the 50 right here barely staying above the 200. So I don't know why my nose always gets itchy whenever I'm on stream. But anyway, we're seeing here 50 hasn't crossed the 200 yet. 100 hasn't crossed the 200 yet. So there's still a chance that this is going to pop up. Now, the chances are becoming less and less likely as time continues to march forward and price fails to recover any new meaningful highs or lows. So looking at our basic horizontal support and resistance, our last resistance level was back here based on seller interest. And price is coming pretty close to that level. So if we're looking to see a bounce from anywhere, it's probably going to be from that low 69K to 70K range. Price may just straight back into it. It may not. It may not. It may use that 200 and bounce up above, test that EMA, and then continue to strike up. But if we're looking for downside ranges, I'm sure there's a lot of people, including myself, with buy orders here in this range. So try and set yourself up for some buys starting at around the high here is about 73K, 73,865, and then the lows around 69, 68-ish. So definitely wouldn't hurt for you to get some buy orders in that range. So as we can see, prices between those two areas of horizontal support and resistance. But what about dynamic support and resistance? So we saw here price created a dynamic trend line based off these 2 points, projected out, had a little bit of support, broke through. Then we were using this previous trend line for support on that dynamic market structure there. And then price came back up. And from these 2 plot points right here and right here, we were able to project another trend line that was resisted here. Sellers found interest at that level. And then sellers again found interest at this level along that trend line, along the EMAs. So when the resistances stack up like that, it has a higher chance of finding rejection or sellers finding interest. Guys, make sure too to drop a comment. Let me know whatever asset you want me to analyze. It's funny. They said Thursday at 2 p.m. would be the most active. It seems like we have 9 spectators right now. Had a little more than 40 on previous Fridays. But hey, you know what? I'm just here to do the broadcast, not look at the analytics. So lining up our horizontal support and resistance, we saw here again that not only were we pressing off of the EMAs here, and that dynamic trend line, but we're also pressing off a horizontal point. So it was pretty clear as day that sellers were going to try and take interest here, and they have. That's going to be quite the front line to recover once price gets back up in that direction. And then looking at our other indicators, we see the ADX starting to shape up here and gaining support for a downtrend because we see that downtrend pushing out from that trend line break. So the downtrend could have some strength up towards these dynamic support levels or that horizontal resistance flip where it might flip to support. MACD still bearish, and we still have our signal line under the median. So even if we had like this instance here, this is a bearish MACD, but the line is still above the median. So that's not a terrible situation for price action. We can see it actually created higher highs. But whenever the signal line and the MACD line are lower than the median here, then it signals an overall downtrend, which is reflected in the price action here. Failure to break new highs, consistently making new lows. And then lastly, in our RSI, what we're seeing is a tiny bit of divergence here, which isn't the most helpful or most meaningful, but there is a tiny bit of divergence, which must be noted. So if you were in some type of short position, maybe you're looking to close out from here. We still could continue as long as price makes another low here and fails to make a new lower low on the RSI. That's still going to be divergent. So it might be a little too early to call that, but it's something we definitely have to point out right now. So that's what we're looking like on BTC. Still trapped within that range. High is expected of 90, 91K. Low is expected to be 72, 69K for that. And we'll drop that in the chat. Anyone drop something in the chat. That way I know the chat is working. I'll plug you up with something if you help me out, guys. Scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. All right. So now we're going to move on to Ethereum. Also, one more time, I just want to make sure everyone gets those buy orders in here, starting at 73.8 to 69,000. That's the range we want to put our buy orders in. You could still accumulate here because it might bounce off at any given time. We never know. But the best bang for your buck will be down here. All right, moving forward into Ethereum. So let me go on to the daily time frame. On the hourly, we can see here that we have been in a downtrend as well. We have multiple TCE opportunities all over the place. If you don't know what the TCE strategy is, guys, you can book me for a one-on-one. Look how cool I am. I come to the live streams in a muscle shirt. Who else do you know is this cool? I promise I'll take care of you. So anyway, moving out to the daily time frame, we're going to go ahead and start here. Get rid of those indicators so we're not too confused at first. And again, just immediately with our eyeballs, guys, you got to train your eyeballs to look at this. What do we have here? Descending highs, descending lows. So if this was like a consolidation or a wedge, these would be coming to a point. I mean, we're going to have falling wedges, but that still supports a downtrend. But for the consolidation wedge, these would be coming to a point like so. But here, these are both going in the same direction. So this states that there's a downtrend evident. We can also see that the 200 crossed the 50 back here. The 100 crossed the 200 as well. So this is looking to use these EMAs now as resistance and push down, continue pushing down. Same way that we used them here. This was more of a consolidatory phase as price failed to break new highs while failing to make new lows. But you can see in essence how the EMAs are first used as support, and then once it flips, they're used as resistance. So those are the beginning of our resistance ranges there. Horizontal support and resistance is always the easiest to look at. So we're not going to zoom too far back out on this range here and pay too much attention to that. But your values come from here, 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 and here. For those that are off screen, here's potential support. Here is proven support. Here is a previous support resistance flip. Here is a previous resistance interest, and all-time high. So zooming into the current market price now, we have our more recent zones. Here's our swing high. Price has been trapped there for a while. Our low, where price just penetrated. So price recently left this range now. And then we had that mid-range here. So being that price recently broke and shattered that low, it looks like the next closest low point that we have to travel to is 1,500 based on these lows that we've seen buyers show interest in the past. So if Ethereum is going to descend any further, it's possible that we could see it to the 1,500 level. This is definitely where you should have your buy orders. I'm anticipating a lot of people have buy orders here. If this level doesn't hold, and then same to the BTC, I got to go back to BTC too. If this level doesn't hold for BTC, and if this level doesn't hold for ETH, top's probably in. It's pretty pivotal moment right now. I think big money got the best of us. They lured everyone into this trap. They tricked all the retail. And now, since price has been on such a long downtrend, people have lost so much hope. There's no interest in buying this asset right now. And I don't know if interest will suddenly be I don't know if interest will suddenly be recovered at this level and people will suddenly start to show interest in buying, although that is one area we could look for potential buyer activity. And then, of course, for seller activity, obviously we have the previous swing low and support resistance flip. Now that it's been flipped, since it was support so many times, it's pretty certain that this is going to be used as resistance or at least tried. So whenever price gets back up to that level, there's going to be some profit taking. That's to be expected. From that profit taking, price will either continue its push down and then we know we're done, or if price can break back above that level, then we'll look to test some of these other EMAs. And from testing those EMAs, we'll be able to try and break up for another uptrend, go back to the swing high, and then maybe the all-time high. But for now, we are looking towards this downtrend continuation as price rides the night on the daily. Looking at a couple other indicators, ADX, also similar to BTC, beginning to stand up. So the ADX shows momentum. It's above 25 and it is standing up. And we can see in the chart reflected a downtrend. So same thing with the MACD. We have bearish MACD signal and MACD line below the median. So this is a general downtrend here as well. Until we can see a bullish cross here, then we can start to look for some upward price action. And then once those signal line and MACD line get over the median, then we can consider the larger trend and uptrend, or the general trend and uptrend like it was here. But until then, I mean, we have one confirmation based off the EMAs, two confirmation based off the ADX, and three confirmations based off the MACD that this is a bearish trend. So you really wouldn't want to try and take any long positions at this time. And then looking into the RSI, one thing we're trying to check for is the bottoms and the tops, the lows and the highs, and see if there's any variation in slope here. So if we look at the bottom, we see from these 2 points, there is no divergence, but from here to here, there's a slight divergence. Why? Similar to BTC, because this is sloping up while this is sloping down. So it's a minor divergence. It's not, again, it's nothing epic, nothing major. If you need help measuring that, you can always book me for a one-to-one or a mentorship, guys, and I'll be able to show you how to measure this with precision and talk about what could occur. But really, it looks like 15% over, 11 days. So over the next 11 days, we could potentially see a high of, 2021, and that would put price right here at resistance. So not a major divergence, and it could be invalidated, but as long as price continues to make lower lows and the RSI doesn't make a lower low here, like this. So if the RSI comes through here and makes a lower low, and then both of these are on the same slope, we're going to have that invalidated. Same is true for BTC. If the RSI comes over here, makes a lower low, then we're going to have that invalidated. So that could be invalidated if this makes a lower low on this asset. And then same thing here for Ethereum. If that makes a lower low, it's going to be invalidated. Right now, there is a little bit of divergence. So sellers might be looking to take profits on their shorts. Buyers might be looking to find their entry. And that divergence could even stack up and get stronger here at the desired range for Ethereum and for BTC. So let me go ahead and get a screenshot of those assets for you guys. Got one more asset on the benchmark for us today. Unless anyone wants me to analyze a pair for them, please drop it in the chat. Give me a shout out. Let me know what's good, what's crack-a-lackin'. Looks like we got 25 people across multiple platforms. Let me know what's Gucci. You just might get something out of it. All right, on the daily time frame here for Solana, man, it's the boy who cried wolf. It's the same story on pretty much all the major leading cryptos right now. There's a difference in some meme coins where we could have a little bit more opportunities. But here, general sense, again, if you got to train your eyes to do this. First things first, what trend are we in? We're looking, and boy, this Solana trend dove deep from that 200 EMA and is on a downtrend. The highs are descending, the lows are descending. The EMAs have crossed. We have the 9 crossing the 26 here, short-term crossover event. We have the 9 being used as resistance primarily the whole way down. We have the 200, the 50 crossing the 200 right here. This is indicative of a long-term trend reversal. And then we have the 100 potentially about to cross the 200. But there's no more shot at being used at using the 200 right here as support. It's done. We're far beneath it. Now it's going to be using these EMAs as resistance. We just saw the 2650 and 200 right there with that wick be used as resistance. Now price is going to come up to look again to the 26, 50, 200, and 100. They're being used as resistances now. Take a look at our horizontal support and resistance because this is pretty easy. We got our previous all-time high. Sellers took profits there, pushed price down. Then there was a breakout from this trend line. Price got over previous all-time high, but only by a few percent. Let's see how much percent we had here. 12% over the all-time high, and then price came crashing back down. So we saw a wedge created here on this with a flag, a breakdown of that flag, and then price start to hug the 9 in the downtrend. We approached this level of previous resistance that flipped to support. We used it for support once, and then it was penetrated. From there, we had to look to the left. We saw there was a high point here, a high point here, and a low point here. So resistance, resistance, support, flip. Tried it once the support broke through. So then we have to go to look to the next level. And we had a lot of support resistance activity here. We had resistance here, resistance, resistance, flip support. Then we had support, 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 support. And now we're seeing support again. So Solana is in an area where buyers have previously shown interest, but they're not showing a strong interest this time around. The way that we know that interest was strong last time is because of these wicks. So when we see a large wick, what it means is price opened at a certain level, pushed down to a degree, but then immediately came back up and recovered it. So whenever we see a wick on the bottom or top, that means like here, there's a lot of selling pressure. And here, there was a lot of buying pressure. Here, there was a lot of buying pressure because we see a big wick comes up, big wick comes up. Not really a big wick, but a turnaround on that candle. Couple wicks, big wick, couple wicks. Not letting price come into that range too far, then a big green exit candle. Here, we see a little wick, but there's not a strong buyer activity. That would be represented by a strong one singular big wick or failure to get too deep into that range. Like here we have failure and then green candle out, failure, green candle out. We're chilling in that range right now. So buyers have slowed down their interest in this range. And then if we zoom out a little further, is what we're going to have to do, we can see that there's a potential for, I guess I skipped one. So about right here is where we're seeing our next zone. In this region, based upon this high and these lows, we're seeing a nice zone here. So if this doesn't hold, ultimately, the next area where people might be interested in purchasing Solana is going to be down to $60, $70. So don't get caught holding the bag. If you're already holding the bag, you might as well cut ties with that thing if this level breaks. If you're still holding the bag, see what you can get out of if this level holds and buyers do show support here. But if buyers aren't showing support here and this level right here breaks, cut your losses, try and get back in around here, or maybe even at our previous low range of $9, $7. That'd be fucking awesome, wouldn't it? So yeah, if this range does not hold, look to escape until this next range. You don't want to hold down another 48%, minus 48%. All right, so that's our price action there. Now we're going to be taking a look at some of our indicators, and here on the ADX, it's kind of shaped up a little bit. The biggest move is behind us. We had a bit of a chill out period. So we had that big push down and then a cool off right here reflected in that, which was a small uptrend. Now there's a little bit of strength in the downtrend here, starting to gain that momentum back, but it's not as extravagant as previously established. So then looking into our MACD, what we can see here, another similar story, signal line below the histogram. These assets kind of moving in step with each other similarly, not exactly the same, but similarly. And you know, the MACD is still bearish here, and the lines are still under this histogram, just as our other assets we reviewed today. So technically, this is also in a bearish momentum based on the MACD. And then again here, also, we have that little divergence. So it's nothing spectacular. It's nothing to bet the house long on, but this is an early sign of a potential trend reversal. And again, as long as the RSI doesn't come down, deviate, and make lower low like that. As long as that doesn't occur, then we're still going to have that divergence there. So as long as the line can stay sloping upwards, we'll have a divergence. And similarly to Ethereum, let's see, we'll go ahead and take and measure this one. It's going to be about 8% over 15 days. And yeah, 8% would really not even put us right back at that resistance zone. So it's possible we could see that up to between the 9 and the 26 EMA, putting us about right here. And then price, continuing to meet it for another downwards push. So maybe some sellers are getting ready to take profits, but not everyone has yet, or else price would have reversed from this point. So Solana looks like it's in the best region if you want to begin your accumulation, because here, out of the 3 assets that we reviewed today, because no one dropped anything in the comment section. I've been asking everybody, shout out to everyone who's here. If you had any assets you wanted me to analyze, drop them in the comment section. But comparatively, BTC is kind of floating right now. It's not along an EMA, which is where we would like to find support, place entries. It's not in a support zone, and it's not in a confirmed uptrend. It's in a confirmed downtrend. So we would need BTC really to find safe entries. We would need to wait a little bit lower, like I said earlier in the stream, to about 73.8K to 69K to look for accumulating safely. Ethereum, we're going to need to wait till about that 1500 range to accumulate safely. If not, it might drop back down towards 750. But for Solana, it's in a previous support zone. So this is a pretty safe place to accumulate Solana. If I was going to accumulate anything right now at this point in time, it would be Solana. My next major bet would be waiting on BTC to get to that level. And again, BTC might not get to that level. It might just have some sharp turnaround from here, and you didn't get in at the best price possible. But that's where my buy orders are set for BTC, which I feel is the safest turnaround point from here, if there's going to be any. And from Solana here, what it seems like, if this level doesn't hold, then it could trend back down to the $75, $50 range, as we discussed a while ago. But if there is buyer support and interest at this level, then we'll look to take out that 9 and 26 EMA. The 9 is currently being used first, then the 26. Then we'll serve back up to that range. So those are going to be the steps that we need to take first before any further price action continuation is considered. So let me get you a screenshot of that. And if there's no questions or comments, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up for today. This stream takes 2 or more to tango. I'll just come out here and give you guys market update, give you my technical analysis on what's happening with some major assets. But I'm definitely still going to need you to come in and drop your comments on any assets you want me to analyze, so that way we can prolong the show. I give you more insights, more information, and everyone gets to stick around and learn something. But since we don't have any of those comments today, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. So this is going to be the time that we start the stream and push the stream forward from here on indefinitely. I'm sure at some point in the future we'll have a change, but now we're going to go ahead and start posting alerts for it. Thursday, my 2 p.m. Not sure what time it is for the rest of you in your world, but if you check onto the YouTube and the Twitter, it'll tell you when it's scheduled directly into your time zone. So you shouldn't have to translate it. All right, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming out to the stream. Really appreciate you. I hope everyone makes a bunch of bucks over the weekend and through next week. We'll see you right back here Thursday. Check your event time zones and make sure that you set your alerts so you don't miss it and get the latest on BTC and other market updates. Doodles, everyone.